Yeah, so if you're coming in for the first time, well, first of all, thank you. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do this live on Twitch. Actually kind of depends on my schedule now. So the goal of the series is to explore the lore kind of together, and we'll be going through as of right now the Shadow Wars. I've already covered excuse me, episode part 1 and part 2 already down here. I also have videos for other things such as books, such as Untitled Sacrifice. Now all these comics, they can be found at this link. There'll be a link down in the description where you can find it, read it absolutely for free. And if you do like this content, do like and subscribe. If not for me, for the Zergling. Okay, let's put the Zergling back. Alright, so let's get to it. Right, so a bit of context. So the Shadow Wars comics were actually part of the War Chest. I believe this came out with the first War Chest, which I think is going to be 2018 or 2019. Actually should be early 2019. These were basically the skins in game that you could add to your armies. Okay, let's get rid of this. You could add to your army. So things like the Tadador skin, the Umojan skin, the Special Forces skin, all these were part of the various war chest, which you could still purchase right now if you so choose. I believe the first war chest of its time and where these three Shadow Wars comics came out was the Special Forces. I remember Special Forces, then Midas Marauders, then Knights of Tadador, then Knights of Tadador. No, the Special Forces buildings. Oh, there's also Umojan. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so the Special Forces I remember were the first. Umojan came later. Then later with the building skins for, let's say, the Tadador and the Special Forces. So these comics came out kind of as a companion to that. And we're going to be reading through that lore right now. So let's get into it. Enough waffling. Alright, so normally when you read this, it comes out, bit by bit, panel by panel, but it kind of comes out like this bit by bit, but it's gonna look really small on the screen. I can zoom in, but this thing is still here, so I have to go to full screen, and the whole thing just loads. Alright, so Shadow Wars Part 3, here are the credits. We've covered this before. The important... Wait, I saw a name. Oh, okay, this is actually important. Tim Morton at the time, who now works at Frost Giant. I'm gonna take a lot of tangents, so apologies in advance. Let's go to Twitter. Tim. There we go. This guy, Tim Morton, was the former game director, I believe, of originally of Starcraft 2. He now works at there he is, this picture of him. Okay, this is important. He now works at a company he founded called Frost Giant Studios. Frost Giant Studios is the majority of the Starcraft 2 team left and joined it. Let's see. Okay, this is the older Pylon show. Oh, here we go. Blizzard Vets joined Frost Giant Studios. Tim Morton, blah 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 blah. Basically, a good chunk of the team went and joined it. If you haven't already, do go and follow them. Oops. Yep, do go and give them a follow. These are the majority of the true Starcraft, well, of the Starcraft 2 team. They came here, which is interesting to see that when this thing came out, Tim Morton was still one of the producers, I suppose, of this comic. Interesting to note. I honestly don't recognize the other names. Hope maybe they're no longer there. Maybe they moved on. But let's. So the previous episode. Okay, so to cut a long story short. First of all, if you haven't watched this already, you should go watch the previous videos. Look, there's gold resources on the planet called Jorium, kind of like high yield minerals, and the Zerg are guarding it, and the Zerg wants to kill the Protoss. The Terran wants to steal the minerals. The Protoss technically control the planet, so there's now a dispute. So we have a Protoss carrier and a Terran battle, because I think this is Behemoth class, but I don't know for sure. I did a former Dominion mining planet, the demilitarized zone. Demilitarized, yeah, sure. It seems that any kindness shown to the Terrans is an error. You Protoss bastards! There were wounded people in that ship. You're gonna pay. And again, in the last episode, they kind of shot down what looks like a medevac because they were infested on board. Admiral Elude, the Terrans have launched multiple warheads as well as single pilot fighters. Okay, single pilot fighters, something that we never see in StarCraft 2, with the exception of the campaign mission in Heart of the Swarm. Alright, never mind. As per normal, we'll read the entire page and then I'll jump into lore. If not, I'm going to be waffling on every word. They are insane. The blame falls, this situation falls wholly upon their shoulders. So it shall be. Answer in kind. Attention Terrans, this is Admiral Elude. This suicidal attack. This is how you repay us for not destroying you when you broke our treaty with your clumsy salvage operation, for saving your entire company from the Zerg infestation on board that ship of the wounded. What the hell you... And communication. Okay, so it's not tough. Ready emergency shuttles. Launch all Phoenix's scouts and interceptors. But Admiral, you know that Hierarch Terrans have been trying to preserve the Alliance. They are attacking us. We may not survive, but we will make them rule the idiocracy and enable as many of our people to escape as possible. All warriors, I need volunteers. Meet me at the teleportation platform. Okay, so very interesting. This is going to be something I'm going to be curious to see, because we've never actually seen the interior of Protoss, of a lot of the Protoss ships. You did see inside the Spear of Adun, but we've never really seen anything beyond that. Admiral Elude is somebody who's actually been featured, as far as I know, in at least one mission, which is in Utter Darkness, in the Terran campaign. Let's just pull that. Oh, I can't load it. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting that they still have shuttles. They never mentioned a warp prism, which is kind of the standard to go to unit. Phoenixes and interceptors, something you might see. As for shuttles, for those who only play StarCraft, for those who've only played StarCraft 2, there's actually a... Oops, what did I press? There's actually a unit in the game called the Shuttle. Here it is. Here's the in-game unit, the remastered version as well as the cartoonified version, which is... It was actually kind of interesting because this is considered an older vessel. The Warp Prism all but replaced it in-game and somewhat on the battlefield, but every time I read media, the shuttle is still used a lot. In the book StarCraft Evolutions, the shuttle was used because something was interfering with the warp matrix, something that's never happened before or since. So they had to send shuttles to manually go and check out the situation. As for this situation right here, Admiral Elude's probably going to try and make the Terrans pay. You can see, oh, the battle cruiser is still in the distance on the holographic display. Alright, so let's see what's happening next. Oh, we got a big scene. This warms my spirit. My elite warriors, ready to give it their all. This planet is host to a vile Zerg brood, which is attacking the Terrans still down there. We never detected that brood. I take full responsibility. Well, he didn't bring any detection, it seems. Time for me to correct my mistake. Interesting. I do not particularly care for whether those humans come live or die. That monstrous brute queen, however, is sending an infested human to infect the rest of their ship. She's clever. She poses a threat to all Protoss. I go now to exterminate her. Those who wish to join me will have my gratitude. Those who do not may leave. Watch over your shipmates and tell the Hierarch how the Terrans have broken his treaty. You do me proud. Operator, find a clear spot close to the brood and warp us in. Zerg activity below is a pit focused on the last remaining pockets of Terran fighters. The Zergs have overwhelming numbers, but they are being uncharacteristically cautious. Get us in there now. Okay, so this is very interesting. We've never actually. This looks like a robotics facility. I don't know if that's got anything to do with the next zone. This is still in space. This is very interesting. I've never seen golden stalkers in this manner. Because stalkers generally. Alright, let's tap into the game for a second. Yeah, so here's the thing. Where are the golden age? Yeah, here's the thing. I've never seen yellow stalkers. Yeah, you can color them in game because most of the time they have their like the coloration to me of these stalkers specifically seem a bit off because gold is the color of the day, well, not so much the Dayla, but of the Kalai, the people who follow, well, not so much the Kala, but okay, look, the Protoss was split into two different factions. Pre-Starcraft 1, even in Starcraft 1, you did not have the second faction, the Nerazim. You did in Brood War, but that's a separate discussion. So the kind of long story short, the Protoss were the ones who originally followed the Kala, which is the crystal that unifies our thoughts and emotions. The Nerazim said, no, we want our discretion and anonymity. They basically wanted to go incognito. They broke off. A lot of other interesting things involved, such as Admiral Elude, which is where the Protoss get the phrase Tower Elude. But the Stalkers are very interesting because at the end of StarCraft 1, the Protoss kind of, reunified because they lost their whole world to the Zerg. Nothing like a common enemy to bring people together. But the thing about this is that the Stalker specifically, as we can see on this page, created by the Nerazim, the Dark Templar, Stalkers are machines that are infused with the shadow essence of their warriors. The ability to teleport them makes them both swift and unpredictable. Which is an interesting point because aside from, let's say, these other skins which are technically canon, like the Tal'Darim or the Purifiers or the Ihan, I don't see anything that really matches the color scheme of what's on the page. And if you really want to see, traditional Protoss gold, the Golden Armada, that kind of thing, you need to look no further than, let's say, the Immortal. See, this is very clear-cut yellow. This is very clear-cut. This is the kind of gold coloration that you would expect. Another good example is the Zealot. Look, like this Zealot right here. This is very golden of what you see on the page. This is consistent. The Stalker, less so. So an interesting point. Alright, but that's kind of it. This looks like a robotics facility, but this seems to be a warp gate. We've seen a few warp gates throughout the series. If we have time, I think we'll circle back to this and we'll come back to that. Alright, let's get back to the action. The planet arena, dusk. They're coming from the left. Okay, that's a lot of things. Quickly, my children, from the other side now. Wait, there was a feint, the right. Good catch, elves. Why didn't you tell me you were psionic? What? I'm not, I swear. Hey, we're not angry. You're keeping us alive. Eek, what now? They're coming. Line them up. Wait, what the? Well, I'll be damned. Here comes the cavalry. Yeah, but not our cavalry. It's the Protoss bastards. Ours, theirs beats the hell out of getting eaten alive, or worse. Amen. Alright, so it looks like we got a bunch of Marines. It looks like they're surrounded by roaches. These do not look like Hydras. This is basically roaches. This many Marines against this many roaches. If there's nothing behind the front line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 Marines is actually quite a lot. You would need at least 10 roaches. So 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7. Yeah, so I think this group of Marines is actually fine against the front line. Of course, there's probably roaches behind that. If they're Ravagers, they're absolutely screwed. More importantly than that, there's no tactical place to retreat. They've basically dug themselves behind cover, which is smart because if these are roaches, they're going to be shooting acid at you. Maybe minus this guy, maybe this Marine's dead. Alright, so this looks like an airstrike, which is quite interesting because I don't know what these vessels are. These could be interceptors. I don't know what these boomerang shaped vessels are, to be honest. And then now we have a round of charge lots coming in against the I assume these are roaches? I think they're roaches. These could be hydras. These could be other Zerg organisms. This looks like a hydra more than a roach. This looks like a... I don't think that's a roach. The roach has like bigger fangs in front. It's certainly not a Zergling. Maybe it's locust. Maybe these are swarm host. Maybe the swarm host in the rear. Never mind. Let's turn the page and kind of see what's going on. Right. Hey, talk about timing. If you haven't... Silence. The only question right now is whether I slaughter you myself, you foolish venom primates. You have destroyed us all. Who is the instigator of this debacle, you mercenary? It is past the point of assigning blame, don't you think, Admiral Elude, is it? Nearly all of our people are dead. Nearly all of yours too, I suspect. Ah, you have psionic abilities. Yeah, good. Lot of good it did me. Can we stick to the problem? We shouldn't have come. I tried to warn my people. They didn't listen. Here's the thing. With the Protoss watching this place, it should have been safe. But the Zerg Queen who rules this brood, who is behind all this... I don't know who. I forgot her name. I think she's been trying to figure out a way to lure you and your crew down here to kill you. And I'm pretty sure you just played right into their hand. Awkward. You believe yourself wiser than I. Excellent. If you have a stratagem, reveal it. Well, I figured we don't have much time before the Zerg attack again. We can either look for a place to hide, or join forces and take the fight right to the Queen while we still can. Your choice. Okay, this is hilarious because this... this feels like the Protoss being sarcastic. It looks as if he's smiling and is about to embrace her. This is a really funny... I'm not sure if this is really the best way to portray this. Like, I'm struggling. Like, if this was a movie, what would be the tone? Like, how would I tell the actor to portray this? Because this one looks like he's being sarcastic, and the Protoss are not known for Terran humor. Generally in the lore. It's really odd. So it looks like this lady Elms, who looks like going to be our protagonist, is has key psionic abilities. Basically, psionics, psychic abilities. All Protoss have them, including the Dark Templar. That's how they used to communicate. Half of their technology runs on their psionics. The High Templars, the Storms, which have cost me so many matches and won me so many matches, that's part of it as well. Beyond that, this is interesting. I don't remember any situations where Terrans with psionics can communicate with Protoss with psionics directly. Although I might be a bit off, because again they're communicating telepathically, and then now she goes back to talking. The Zerg on the other hand is interesting because the Zerg have their own psionic network, but it's mostly just the queens, because everything below a queen, not even a queen, a brood mother, basically just follows orders. Like the Zergling, like little guy like over here, he just follows commands, or she for that matter. This Protoss doesn't seem too phased by the psionics, probably because he has bigger fish to fry. As he admitted, he's let in a security breach. Like, they're not supposed to be Zerg on the planet. Alright, so read the next issue or read the previous issue. Yep, okay, so this one, Shadow Wars Part 4, we'll be reading this next time. If you want to read it yourself, all of it's here. You can speed run it a lot faster than I can. I'm doing this so I can go through, explain the lore of what I can. This is a zealot. Alright, so that's kind of about it. Not too much to talk about. A few pages per time. I still don't know what they were fighting against specifically. It does look like roaches, but it could be it could be locust. That seems a bit more plausible. Swarm host is one way you could really win a fight, because if you're throwing away this many roaches, you're not getting that great of a fight. As for this This really looks like a robotics facility. There we go. It really looks like that, and normally stuff warps out. I suppose things can warp back in, although that's never really happened. The other possibility in terms of what this could be is that it could be a warp gate. And I don't mean the Starcraft 2 warp gates, I mean the Starcraft 1 warp gates. Here it is. So these were found on Aya, but I don't know. Based on what I see in this comic, it doesn't really look like it. The archways are wrong. This is how they, or rather the Protoss used to basically evacuate Aya. They teleported to Shakuras. It's been featured a bunch of times, but never in StarCraft 2, oddly enough. Although that could be of just because of the. I mean, StarCraft 2 you have gateways and later warp gates, so that's much superior technology. Maybe it's a warp gate, but again, we've never really seen that side of it and how it works. So yep. Alright, so one more thing I'm very curious to try. We did this in the first episode. I'm gonna try it again. Let's load it up. Load the unit tester. Switch the scenes. Let it load. Alright, it's all good. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look see at this. Alright, so we had, how many Marines was it? In the final battle? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 Marines at best. Alright. No, let's have 15 Marines. Based on this comic, they don't have combat shields. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's call it 8. 8 roaches. Again, they might be hydras, but I can't tell. And let's just see the straight up fight who will win. I think the Marines. Oh. Oops. I didn't switch the scenes, hold on. Alright, let's see what happens. Attack! Alright, they're in a line. The Marines are getting thinned out. The Marines are being massacred. Okay, so it looks like this number of Zerg, especially with armored roaches, are more than enough to take on the Marines. Let's run this again. Again, this is 15 Marines, and this is the upper limit of what the numbers could be. Nah, they're still screwed. The roaches are too much HP. Alright, so let's call in some Protoss reinforcements. Let's go back to here. Okay, so there are a bunch of warp-ins. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 zealots. 4 and at least 2 more plus our hero unit here, so call it 7. There are definitely more Protoss warriors here. 1, let's count the heads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus at least 2 stalkers. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's a backline too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's call it 7 zealots with charge, but let's just call it 7 zealots. Alright, let's fix that. We've gotten our zealots. Let's see how this fight goes as per the comic. Alright. Take the zealots out. Attack. Put the zealots on hold position and then have the zealots run in from the side like they would flank. Let's see how the battle would go. Okay, quite a few losses. Oh my. A decisive victory, not a single zealot lost. Okay, let's see if they just attack together. Again, the Zerg hasn't got any reinforcements. Oh my gosh, these zealots are tanky. One zealot goes down. Another zealot, oh no, they're chewing through. Okay, not a single marine dies, and one Protoss died. Which is ironically very I need to run this again. This is so consistent to the comic. This is so low accurate. I want to run this again. Okay, it happens. The Marines need to scramble. The Marines are trying to fire. Some of them are not going to be... Let's assume some of the Terrans were wounded. Okay. Okay, slightly higher losses. So 2 Zealots died. None of the Marines were killed once the Zealots came into the fray. Actually, if we look at the comic, again, this is very, very accurate what I'm seeing on the page, because let's say these roaches are about to fire. Okay, yes, there's an airstrike of some kind. And then the Zealot charges. We see one Zealot just outright being killed, not even being walked back to Aya or the ship. And then after that, like, some of the Terrans are wounded, as you can see. Some of the Terrans are wounded, but that's from the previous fighting. Once the Zealots come in, it's no contest, and they're just wiped out. And as she said that you've taken some losses somewhere. Yeah. So the Protoss have taken some losses, at least one, which is absolutely consistent. And the Terrans, again, once the fighting started, they were fine. Alright, so that's just kind of it. That's kind of it for this experiment. If you do like this content, do like and subscribe. I do this generally once a week. Videos will be uploaded to YouTube also once a week. If you like this content, don't do it just for me, but for the Zergling. Okay, alright. Alright, so now we're moving to the